Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Calling all seekers throughout the world, wherever you may be. We have an interesting subject to discuss today, and that is the power of sin. And I think that's something that we're all acquainted with. This video is not really made for a sinless man or woman. In other words, if you come to this channel thinking that sin no longer has anything to do with you, has no power over you, then you're in the wrong place. Anyway, I'd like to start this topic by going into some words of Brother Paul. And now we turn to the book of Romans, chapter 7, verses 14 through 25. And this is Paul writing. So the trouble is not with the law, for it is spiritual and good. The trouble is with me, for I am all too human, a slave to sin. I don't really understand myself, for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. Wow, how can this be? How can this be, seekers? Could it be that sin actually has a power within us? Overcoming us, overtaking us? Why are we so weak? Shouldn't we be able to combat this sin? Let's read on from here. But if I know what I am doing is wrong, this shows that I agree that the law is good. So I am not the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it. And I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature. And we know that's the truth. We know that the flesh cannot overcome the flesh. We know that the carnal mind is enmity against God. The carnal mind, the natural man, has no desire for a relationship with God. Let's read on. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. But if I do what I don't want to do, I am not really the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it. Wow. Tell you what, that gives you something to think about, you know? Here's a guy he loves doing what is right in the sight of God, but yet he finds himself doing the wrong things. And it just shows the power that sin has within the flesh especially. We know that the child of God hates sin and everything about sin. So let's continue. I have discovered this principle of life, that when I want to do what is right, I inevitably do what is wrong. I love God's law with all my heart, but there is another power within me that is at war with my mind. This power makes me a slave to the sin that is still within me. Oh, what a miserable person I am. And this brings up some questions about how much power do we really have over the sin in us. Some Bible preachers, scholars, whatever, will believe that Paul wrote this before he became saved, before he was born again in the Spirit. I find that hard to believe, because here's a picture of a man that delights in the law of God, that loves what's doing right, loves pleasing the Father, wants to be accepted by the Father. I don't think that type of a mind could, in other words, if he were completely unsaved, he would have none of that. There would be no desire for the Father. There would be no desire for a relationship with God. Who will free me from this life that is dominated by sin and death? Thank God. The answer is in Jesus Christ our Lord. So you see how it is? In my mind, I really want to obey God's law. But because of my sinful nature, I am a slave to sin. Oh, there has to be an answer to this. How do we overcome sin? How do we overcome sin? Well, so in order to answer the question, how do we overcome sin? We're turning to Romans chapter 8, verses 12 through 14. And it goes, "Dear brothers and sisters, you have no obligation to do what your sinful nature urges you to do. For if you live by its dictates, you will die. But if through the power of the Spirit you put to death the deeds of your sinful nature, you will live. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God." What are they saying here? If you continue to live by the flesh, through your sinful nature, you're going to die. And the part that a lot of people miss, they think, well, I just need to try, and if I fail, the Lord will forgive me. And He will. If you're a child of God, the Lord will forgive you. There's no limit to His forgiveness if you're a child of God. But anyway, it goes on to say, "But if through the power of the Spirit you put to death the deeds of your sinful nature, you will live." How do you do it? Through the power of the Spirit. That's how you put to death the deeds of the sinful nature. So it's like when you pray to the Lord, just pray, "Lord, send your Spirit. Rain it down on me, Father. Cleanse me, fill me. Take over this vessel. Let other people see you through me. Guide my actions. Walk with the Lord 24 hours a day. Always be conscious of the Lord and that you're a child of God." In this way, you are walking as a free person. Sin really will no longer have power over you. Does that mean you'll not sin? Oh, no. You'll still sin. You'll sin until we leave these physical bodies. Once the flesh is gone and all the sin is ripped away from the body as we're ascending to meet Jesus in the clouds, that'll be a wonderful day, brothers and sisters. So there's a lot more that could be said on this subject, but I think everyone gets the point, is that we have a battle. And one of my pastor friends used to say, if you're not doing battle with Satan head on, then he's walking right alongside you. So, equip yourself with the whole armor of God. And bless you all. Have a great day until we meet again.